Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to the lecture number 13, part B for the course of Computer Networks and Internet Networking. My name is Engineer Jaffar Ali. I am your instructor for this course. So, in the first part of lecture number 13, we discussed about a protocol known as FTP. And you already know that file transfer protocol, and this is done in the application layer. Sorry, FTP, file transfer protocol. And I hope that you have learned quite a lot. I have made sure that I provide you the best of the knowledge that I have right now. So this is the lecture brief for this part, and in this lecture we are going towards to get ourselves familiar with this TFTP, and in the TFTP we are going towards the messages of TFTP, the connection type, the data transfer, the UDP ports that are involved in TFTP, the examples of TFTP, the options that are available for this TFTP, the security features that you can have in this TFTP, and applications of this protocol. So these are the some of the main key features of this lecture's outline. And in the end of this lecture, I hope that you will be able to understand the TFTP flow and error control as well, and know the differences between the FTP and TFTP. So let's start our TFTP. So TFTP is a advanced version of FTP, and this is basically known as Tribal File Transfer Protocol, and it is a simple and file transfer protocol without the sophisticated features of FTP. So FTP had many of the features which this TFTP is not carrying. So this is why it is most robust. You can see it is most fast. That is why it is used mostly for simple file transfers, such as during a boot time. So this is there for something when you need a fast transition, or for that service you can use this TFTP. So instead of using TCP, it uses a UDP and basic IP, and it can operate out of the ROM. So you know that was basically sequential and random both. So this is only random, and instead of TCP, you can see we are dealing with this differences in parallel. Instead of TCP, we are dealing with this UDP, and the well-known port is basically 69. There was two ports in the FTP. The first one was 21 and the second one was 20. So there were two ports, and here we are talking about only one port, 69. So the main get messages for this FTP is basically this read a request, and it is used to read the, or you can see, establish a connection. This is the write request. This is the data used to send your blocks or data blocks. This is the acknowledgement message, and this is the error message. We will look that into one by one. So this is the request message, and this is the format of for the request message. So this is the opcode, operation code, that is 1 for 2 bytes. The file name, it can be variable, all zeros, 1 bytes, and then mode, and then all zeros. So my question to you is, what are these all zeros doing over here? And anyone if give me this answer, I will be giving him +1 bonus marks. What are these all zeros doing over here? And this is +1 for you as a bonus. So this mode defines the type of the file transfer. This is the mode. This mode is basically defining the type of the file transfer. That which type do you want? We will be dealing with different file types. So there is one NetASCII, and the second one is basically for ASCII file, and octet for a binary file. So there can be two files, and depending on the file type, you can denote that. This is the write request, or you can see in this diagram, you can see that the code will be 2, and there is again all zeros, and the mode and the file type. This is the data format. The same thing is going on over here, but instead of all zeros, there is no all zeros byte over here and over here. So what was this all zeros doing here and here? So this is a question that is for you. And this is the format for the acknowledgement packet. You can see that the operational code and the block type, block number 2 bytes. This is the error format packet, and you can see that this is optional code, error number, error data, which type of data has been errored and how much, and these are all zeros. So these are some this is table showing the error numbers and their meanings. So mostly if you work this on for a while, you will be able to memorize it, and if not, this is table that is provided to you by the ISP or any of the provider you are dealing with. So 0 is basically mapping with the non-defined, 1 is file not found, the second one is access violation, the third one is disk full or quarter disk exceeded, and the fourth one is representing illegal operation. The 5 number is showing unknown port number, and the 6 is showing the file already exists, and the 7 number is there for no such user. So these are some types. Now dealing with the connection establishment process, let's talk about. So you can see that the first step that a client basically is doing is basically sending a RRQ packet towards the server, and on reception of this RRQ packet, the server replies back with a data packet, or it can reply back as an error message. You can see that this is or it will reply back as a data, or it will send an error message. If let's say there is no authentication has been done, so this server will send the packet as an error packet. So these are two possibilities: it will reply with the data, or it will reply with the error. So this is connection for reading. So let's talk about connection for writing. If I want to store some data onto the network, so I'll send some of the data, the request pack is this write request packet onto the server, and the same thing will happen if the server acknowledges my request. So I will get this acknowledgement, and after that I will be establishing a data connection. I will tell you later on. But if the server does not want you to store your data onto that server, it will send you an error message by saying that I don't have any space, or your authentication is required, or any of the excuse that the server makes. So you can see this is the you can say the overall figure of this establishment of the connection. This is a receiver, this is your sender, this is you can say this is also known as a sorcerer apprentice bug, and you can see that the blocks is basically send from the sender towards the receiver, and the receiver on receiving this send back acknowledgement. So this is going on and on, and this is a small error you can see over here. Because of delay, this 5 is sent twice, and the 6 is sent twice, and the 7 is sent twice, because of the reason that this acknowledgement of this packet was received at a very late time. Similarly, the acknowledgement of this packet number 6 was received much later than the transmission of the 6th file second time. So this was the reason. Because of that high delay, these files were resent. All of these files were resent. So this, we can say, this is a kind of a bug in this kind of network. So how these UDP port numbers are used by this FTP. So you can see that for the first step is the same, that only the port number is being changed. Now earlier it was 21 and now it is 69. So the server opens a port, and it will send towards the receiver. After the client is received, it will actively open a port number, and it will respond back with the same port number, and on that port number next time the server will transmit its data. You can see that, and this will be chosen randomly. Similarly, this will be chosen randomly. So port 69 is replaced with temporary port number, so another client can initiate a TFTP session with another server. So you can see that you can have this this is basically changed now. You can establish just for the establishing of connection, you have used this port, and after that you have leave that port and shift it to another port, so that this port can be used with the start of session for another with another client, server. So On this TFTP, this example, you can see that this is your client, this is your server. You initiate a request and it will respond back as a data. Then you send back an acknowledgement, and after the acknowledgement had been sent, there is some time pass, and there will be data sent from the server side towards the receiver, but the data is now lost, so there will no acknowledgement. So the server will send the data again to the client, and this client is now sending the acknowledgement for this packet. Similarly, this data 3 will be sent, data block 3 will be sent, and let's say the client has received the data 3, but the acknowledgement was lost actually. So the server won't know that. It will assume that the packet 3 is lost. That is why I have not received any acknowledgement. So after some time, because it is not received the acknowledgement, so it will resend the data, acknowledgement data to this server, because server knows only when I receive the acknowledgement, only then I have to send the file. So after this time out, this client will know that my acknowledgement has been lost because server has not responded new data. So that's how this it will be sent. It will be sending the acknowledgement again on the towards the server side. And after reception of the acknowledgement for the third packet on the server side, the server will start sending the data from the this towards the client side. Let's say this packet has been damaged, so it will not send the acknowledgement, and after some time that this will not receive the acknowledgement, it will retransmit that data. So this is the thing that is going on and on unless and until the communication has been completed. So this was the small portion that was left in the earlier part of lecture number 13A. I hope that you have learned quite a lot in this lecture too. There may be many questions, many more discussion needed to discuss in this lecture, but I hope that you have written it down so that you will be able to ask me in the class as well. I hope that you all attend the class and ask some good questions, because you know that the more you ask, the more you learn. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the class. Allah Hafiz.